Hello, I'm Barry Winbolt, and this is Tinycast. In each episode, I take just 5 minutes to raise a topic, give advice, or just talk about something that concerns our well-being and how we show up in the world. This is based on my 30-odd years as a psychologist, working with individuals and organizations to help people get a better handle on their lives. I'm thinking about courtesy. There's noticeably a falling off, a degradation, a worsening of public behaviour these days. And I notice this in my work because I've written a book on difficult people, because I help organisations and their employees in their communications. And in particular, it's coming to a head recently between agents, service providers, companies, and us, the public. That includes a lot of professionals, lawyers, mortgage brokers are two cases I've come across recently. Basically, lack of civility, lack of courtesy, lack of treating the other person as a human being. That's always been present in the 30 years I've been doing it. But now it's suddenly got a lot worse, or recently it's got worse. I think of it as the Gordon Ramsay effect or the Trump effect. We've got public figures thinking that it's okay to be bombastic, rude, to lie even. I'm not accusing Ramsay of that, of course, but to tell untruths, to stretch the truth, to ill-consider the feelings of their target, of the person, usually the person or the people they're speaking to. And this is having a deleterious effect, a seriously negative effect on public behaviour, I feel. Whatever the cause, nevertheless, I have seen companies brought to their knees, one in particular recently, almost cease trading because of the behaviour of one of their customers who started a campaign of harassment which continued onto social media. And I actually spoke to this person. It was part of my work. I spoke to this person on a number of occasions. And he could be charming and sweetness and delightful man to speak to 1 minute. And all of a sudden, he just would flip and start saying exactly the opposite of what he'd been saying a few minutes before about the company or about the individuals he was interacting with. And furthermore, he would then make threats. Eventually, this got worse and worse, so that the company was required to call in the police, which didn't settle matters, but it did at least clarify them. So my point being that we all have a part to play in this. We can all be civil, we can all be courteous, we can all be generous towards other people. But the more we're surrounded by behaviour, it's almost unconscious. We soak up this behaviour and it becomes permissible maybe, particularly if you're not thinking about it, to be this aggressive or bombastic, or simply to show lack of consideration to the people that we are interacting with. So what I'm here to say in this Tinycast is that I think it's really important that we all consider our own behaviour, starting with civility, belief in humanity, generosity towards others, basic courtesy and respect for other people. It's really, really important that we lend our weight to this kind of idea, and maybe eventually we can start a movement. Maybe we'll develop a word for it, where we've had other types of behaviour in public called out vociferously in recent years. Well, I think it's time to call out displays of poor behaviour in public, and particularly where they are people who are insulting others openly and defiantly without any thought of the consequences. Remember too, one final point on this, if you work in one of those businesses, one of those industries, maybe in the medical field, maybe you're a doctor's receptionist, or you're whatever, you're working in some field where you have to deal with the public and there's pressure, there's stress, you will have come across this behaviour. And this damaging verbal, these onslaughts, these tirades that people can subject us to, actually, it has been shown by research back in the 1990s that this was more damaging to the individual than a physical attack. And I can go into that on another day. I want to wind up here today. But sticks and stones, they say, break your bones, words will never harm me. Well, that's not true. I'm afraid words do a hell of a lot of damage. It's time to call it out. We need to stop this public displays of rude, aggressive, hostile behaviour, and it starts with us. And in another Tinycast, I'll be talking about the benefits of showing courtesy and respecting others. The benefits to ourselves, not to society. So that's all from me. This has been a Tinycast. I'm Barry Winbolt. You'll find more on this topic on my blog at barrywinbolt.com. And if you have a question or a topic you'd like me to cover, you can contact me via the link in the description. Have a great day. All the best. Bye for now.